guys, we're in a 2012 CX-5 today, I believe. Now these Mazdas, there's a few variations of them. So year range, I think it's about 2012 to 2018. Their dash will kind of look like, so it's like this up the top. Send us a picture because like some of them have a silver trim here, which is like different. Some of them don't. We need to confirm which one you have. Now these have the Bose like sound system by the factory. So all of that will keep working. They are a pretty high-end, well, they are a high-end car. So we've got steering wheel controls. They work. Like this customer said to me, he said sounds a lot rubbish, and he was right.
They are such good operators. That's why we get Trish Blake.
So they're pretty out of date, like that's pretty hopeless. There isn't anything in the centre console of this one. Audio, so you can put your radio on. Sounds alright. So I don't know, maybe it was just the station he was on before. So we've got that, we've got steering wheel controls, that. Obviously we're going to reverse. We've got a reverse camera. It doesn't have trajectory lines, just static, so that'll keep working. And then one would assume we should have a USB or something around here, which it looks like the USB is in here. Should be able to keep that working hopefully. And that's about it, that's all the factory features. So we'll go and take this one out and put our unit in. Right, so we'll start to take this out. You basically got to take off this big piece of trim, clips in, and then this bit will come off, then we can unscrew the unit. So I'll just grab our trim tools, I'll pop over to the other side here, and we'll start at the far end, and we'll work our way back. Sometimes it can be a little bit stiff, but just take your time and work it out. We will see. I haven't pre-loosened this or anything, so it'll give you a good idea of how stiff it could be. They're not too bad, which is nice. Just take your time and slowly work along. It is plastic, so it'll all eventually come out. Just don't try and rush it. They actually come out very easily. Little plug on here, there's a little tab underneath it. You have to unplug that little tab there, push down, pull out. Put this in the back here, out of the way, and now we have this piece here. Now, it's just clipped in, I believe, so give it a few little wiggles, like that, a few wiggles here, and it will come off. Get your hands up in here, very simple. Out in by clips, super easy so far. Right, now you can see 1, 2 Phillips, and then no doubt there is an extra one at the back in the middle, which will probably be a 10mm nut there. So Phillips, 10mm nut at the back. You will need extension on the socket to get that, and we'll take that off. These two, 1, 2, and the one at the back here. Yeah, how if I go the right way. So that's just a normal size extension, so it'll just get there. A little stubby extension would not make it. So it'll spin that off, you might be able to get it with your fingers. It'll save it dropping down and going somewhere where you can't find it, which I'm pro at doing. All right, cool. Now grab the unit, a few wiggles and it'll come out like so. Now in the back of here, I'll show you in a jiff, but it's basically just a lot of plugs, and we've got to pull them all out. And they've all got a little tab on top that you've got to push down when they come out. If you kind of find they get a bit stuck, push them in and then push it back out. So that is the back of the factory unit. And these are all the plugs. And what I was trying to explain there was you sort of push something down and then pull it out. Push down and then pull it out. If it gets stuck, push it all the way back in, then push it down hard and try and pull it out. Sometimes they get jammed. Then what we do is we grab our harness kit and our CAN bus, and we want to check that thing's going to work before we go too much further. Now we just do this we never know what's going to happen with some of these cars, so I'll match the plugs up to what we've got. They should click in nicely. Now not all the plugs will be used, just match up the ones that are used. So that's matching, which is always a good sign. That's our F, which is a good sign. This is probably reverse camera, I would hazard a guess. It's always a good sign when we've covered all the plugs. I always like that. There's a bit going on here, I'm just trying to find it. Okay, now that's our FM AM antenna adapter. So we've only got, that'll be the factory USB left over. I'll check if we have the adapter for that in the kit. Sorry, that wasn't the best space there. There you go. So we've hooked all those up, and we'll try and power up the unit and see what happens. The only other thing you'll need is this here, reverse camera input, purple wire, cam in. Follow where we've plugged this into. There's a yellow RCA hanging out here. This will get our reverse feed, the video feed coming in. All right, then what we do is we grab our unit, and what we're going to try and do is plug the main 20-pin plug in, plug this one in, and we might as well do our radio, and we're just going to see what happens. Ideally, everything we had working from factory will still be working, but you do never know. This is why we do these tests. Got power, it's a good start. So what you're doing here is just checking everything you had working is still working. So I'll hit the steering wheel control now. The volume's going up. It's like showing me the doors are open, which means your CAN bus is like working. Now I can see the radio is working, but there is no sound. So we don't have any sound. We'll go reverse, trigger works, and the camera works. All right, so everything's working so far, and even all your beepers coming up, etc. Everything's working so far apart from the sound. Now I would assume this is it's like a Bose system in here, so there's a factory amp. We will try and work all that out now. So we worked out our power issue, and what we'll do on our next harness is we'll like tap it in, but basically we had an amp connection here. This had to be tapped into our ACC power source, or you could also tap it into this blue antenna source here coming from here. Basically this is turning our factory amp on. So that's what we have to do there. So if you're having that issue, that's what you need to do. In our future one, we will hopefully make that a bit easier and have a little easy plug for that. So we'll just go back through and plug all these in. USB, didn't have radio. All right, so put all that in. Now you might see it's a bit of a different like fascia like now, as I had to change it because the one we had didn't fit. So on our product page, we'll have it clear about what one is correct. So you'll be able to check on there, and if you're unsure, just flick us an email, we can tell you. So again, we'll do all this back into here. Now we have used the pre-outs here, and we've unplugged, this plug here. You'll see there's two options for that little plug. The other one will be floating around somewhere. Oh, here it is here. So it can either come out this speaker line out, or the RCAs. You will probably find if it's a Bose one, you have to put it out the RCAs. It'll sound better. It'll work on both of them, but the pre-outs will give you a better sound. So that's what we've used in like this case. You can try like both on your model. This plug just comes unplugged and it swaps around. So that's into there. This is our camera to ensure our camera's happening, and our radio antenna we will plug in, and we'll just make sure again that we have something happening. So we can see we've got power here. I've just been starting this car up. The battery sounds pretty like weak on it, and I don't want to just leave the radio on. You see this is a bit of a different fascia. Now this fascia wasn't a perfect fit, so I'll show it to you, and hopefully we will be able to improve in the future. It's not 100% if we can get it, but you'll see what it looks like in a second. So you can see we've got steering wheel controls working.
I think it's never been more uncertainty.
We've got sound working. Now the speakers still sound like rubbish, like they did like the factory one. So I think the front speakers in this car could be both gone. That's pretty uncommon. So I would assume that might be a common problem on a year of cars. I would go and get two replacements on the wreckers. Again, it's better to replace it probably with the same Bose ones as they're going to be tuned to the factory amp. So we've got steering wheel controls, reverse camera, which is cool, and our front sensors still work. That's all fine. So that's pretty much everything tested, and everything is going okay. So all good. That's basically the test we have to do. Now we can go and run all the cables and we will be good. So I've grabbed all the, I like to call them auxiliary cables we need, and we'll go and put them in. Our GPS obviously gives the unit its own GPS, so it can use map apps offline, etc. Again, you just want to clear, this is easy in this car, clear a view of the sky without any metal. So up under the dash is fine. Peel off that sticky back. The orientation's not important. Don't put it under there's some speaker, because there's a big, obviously, magnet on there. So give that a good push down, and that is your G blue one there. 4G antenna, now only used if you are going to be putting a SIM card in it, but always just put it in anyway, because that way it's in, and if someone in the future wants to use a SIM card, it's actually there all up ready. We often have people buy a car with our unit in it, and then they go, it doesn't work, and it's because the original owner didn't put the extra antenna in, because they were thinking, well, I'm never going to use that, so I need it. Again, you can just stick it up under, well, you can stick it wherever you want. It's just 4G. It's a bit like your phone. It gets reception even if it's on, even in the footwell of the car. So that's going to work fine. purple and that. Then you want to run a few into the glove box. You just, depending, these Mazdas, I was going to say, normally the glove box is a pain to get to. Oh no, there's a little like gap in here. It's actually quite so nice, which is good for a change. Now this is the SIM card. Again, if you're not going to use it, it doesn't really matter, but you might as well put it in the glove box, just in case someone in the future does want to use it, then it's all hooked up. Now you can just pass this. We do include a cable puller in the kit, but you can just pass it through. Just the only thing you want to look out for here is just take it above that like aircon vent, otherwise it's going to get in the way. Now you got 2 USBs and external mic. The external mic, we normally run up the A pillar over there and put it in, but you can actually, if you don't want to install it, you don't have to. You can do a little like test call and see what it sounds like. So this plug here has an external mic port on it and 2 USBs. Now one of the USBs, we're going to grab our retention cable, plug it into here, fits like that, and that's going to keep that one of those USBs still working. That's our factory one in the center console back there. The other one, you can choose where to run that. That is normally pretty handy if you are using our DAB or dash cam or something, but we will run it into the glove box here, so it's easy to find and get to. Oh yeah, it's just easy enough to get. All right, like that. Third USB, I'm going to put it in the glove box as well. Again, this customer probably won't be using it, but we have all these extras because we do have add-ons for our head units. And so we will flick that through to here, and then we will be able to plug it in the back. Now, external microphone is in the kit. Pretty straightforward. You can I'll pull this like trim off. If you pull out the seal here and pop the trim a bit, you'll be able to see a few clips in the side. I'll use one of our big orange trim tools to lever it out. It'll come down here. You can just pop that bit of plastic off and tuck it in, take it under and plug it in. Again, what I'll do in this case, I don't think we'll have an issue here. The internal mic will be fine. Car's quite small. It's there. External, so the mic will only be a little bit closer, but you can do a little test call and check it out. That's the best way to do it. You can power it up, everything now, turn the car on so it's running, and then do a test call. That's a good way to actually test to see if you do need that external mic or not. That is pretty much everything now. I'll use a little bit of tape, tidy things up, and then we'll throw it back in. So under the fascia, there's 2 metal clips on the bottom. I'll pop those off just like a flat head. When you go to push them back on, you kind of have to use a little screwdriver to kind of get them on. There's a little tab in there, they're a bit tight. You want to pop those on, and then we're just going to go through and hook up everything here. Now, you don't have to get too carried away with zip tie and all this stuff, because the idea is it just slides in the back. And sometimes if you tape it up too tight, it can be hard. You get a bit less movement. So I normally start from the one side and I work my way back. So I do this plug here, then I do my auxiliary plug, so that's our third USB. It's our RCAs, and little Bluetooth antenna, 4G, SIM card, reverse camera, 2 USBs and external mic. That is what you will end up with. These can only fit where they sort of can fit. You can manage to put a too big one in a smaller hole, but you shouldn't do that. 4G, GPS, they're color coded. And then there's one more, don't forget the FM AM antenna, which will float around somewhere. And then what I do before I get too carried away and put it back in is just, again, power it up, check everything's okay, and then go from there. So when you go to push it back in, remember you want to keep your hazard one out. You want to keep these around the AC vent, so take them over the top of it. Sorry, but might have probably lost a bit of. And then when this slides in, there's quite a bit of room in the back here, so you shouldn't have any problem fitting in all your plugs. But obviously it's all going to slide in. There you go, you can see it really tucks out the back. And then I'll show you what I mean about the fascia here, and we're going to try and get a better fascia, but I'll show you what the fit is like, and then you can see it and you can decide if you want to buy it or not, because it is what it is at the moment. Unless we can get a better one, we will try and find a better one, but these things aren't always possible. So you can see up here, that is incorrectly, and it's not quite perfect. Up to you. We'll see if we can get a better fascia, but that's it all clipped in. Now let's all do our test again. It'll reboot, it'll do a slow boot because obviously we turn everything off. So I like to check everything again, and then you're going to go back through and put all your parts back together. Now this install, pretty straightforward to be honest. Can't go too wrong with it.
Melbourne. And that single is the title track from his forthcoming album out on Dinosaur City Records.
So you can see we've got that going on.
If you're loving what I'm doing on the radio this afternoon with Out Touch,
we can hook up like a phone. This is a good time to do that test call, like I said, and compare the external and internal mic. Reverse camera, all the same, all working.
Studio album Clouds in the Sky, that will always be there for me.
Front like sensors, all working.
2022 release, water slide, diving board, ladder to the sky.
So everything's working as it should.
I love those long albums.
Happy days. So push that back in, slide that in. Again, all this sort of stuff, just go in reverse to how you took it out. It's all plastic, so it should all fit in quite nicely. And just give it a good push and then go along and do it as you go along. Let's go to the passenger side here and I'll carry on doing that. I will also just tape up these to tidy them up. So as far as installs go, this is a good install to do. If you haven't done anything like this before, it won't take you too long. Then you'll be able to get a cool upgrade for your CX-5 there. Could even be on here, these dashes have got quite a bit of flex on them. Could even be just this like model in the dash, because it's bent over time. It's always hard to tell. About the bad fitting like fascia, I take it all back. Fits perfect. What you got to do is come in here, press this like top down a bit and push quite a bit of force on here. And you'll, so actually here, each one of those go clip as they like clip in. So if I come and show you this now, pristine, all looking good. So what I said about the fascia before, I take that back, it fits great. So disregard my earlier comments. You've just got to use a bit of force when you push it in and you'll hear them go click up the top there. So there's the unit all installed there. So obviously steering wheel controls have retained. Still have our reverse camera. That's the factory reverse camera. There we go, factory reverse camera there. I'm not sure why that was a bit slow. Then obviously if we go back into drive, you got your front beepers coming in from the car's CAN system. And like I said, that fascia actually clipped in all right there. You can sort of see how that looks, give you an idea. So there's our unit in. It's a good upgrade for this car. Obviously you got other wireless Apple CarPlay going on and everything all looking pretty good there.